I we were just talking, why are people so unhealthy? I mean, don't you wonder that? Why are people all have some kind of chronic thing going on? What's happening?
Right. And people are feeling out of control. I mean, if you look at the statistics, they're pretty frightening. Two-thirds of the population are taking prescription medicines, and rarely is a person on just one prescription. They're taking multiple prescriptions. 3 out of 5 have low energy or experiencing exhaustion. 43% are experiencing chronic pain. That's daily pain that they're complaining of. 1 out of 3 have sleep difficulties, and almost two-thirds are using some sort of an anti-aging product right now.
So what's the deal with that? What do you think? Do you think it's purely stress?
Well, stress is a problem, but people have a wrong idea of what stress is. We think of stress as being that thing that gives us, chest pain or maybe stomach pain or whatever. But stress comes in all sorts of forms and is more insidious than the type that people are most, thinking about the feelings of stress. And so that's really the root cause. And so this is actually documented. If you look at the National Library of Medicine on the National Institutes of Health, if you type in a term which is called oxidative stress, you'll see that there's hundreds of thousands of studies that are being looked at as this as being a big problem, and it's a root cause problem. So if you look at this little circle that we have here, free radical oxidative stress is kind of at the center of this pinwheel. So whether it's your heart, your kidneys, your lungs, your immune system, your eyes, all of these things are impacted by this core problem, which is called oxidative
So
stress.
you're saying that the stress going unchecked will hit every single one of these things on the wheel?
Potentially, yes. So most people think, well, it's in my genes, so I'm going to have it. But that's not necessarily the case. And we'll kind of address that in just a moment here. So I love this quote from Dr. DeGray. Aging itself is not a mystery. It is simply the accumulation of damage in the body. The single biggest problem that drives the greatest amount of damage is breathing, which is really a part of what oxidative stress is. So we're trying to cycle all the damage out, but our body becomes overwhelmed. We have a system in place that's supposed to take care of this, and it does. It does beautifully. But over time, with the way we live our lives, it starts to get compromised, and you start to see what is called disease manifest in those different organ systems, like you were saying before. So, how do you address this? Well, a lot of people, we already kind of mentioned it, they'll use what are called anti aging products. And these are supplements that are meant to cause a benefit for somebody who's having a problem. So, for example, somebody who's having sleep problems, they might use melatonin or something like that. And so it makes sense to the mind that this might be something that could help the symptom of being sleepless or having low energy and just trying to get your Z's. But it doesn't address the whole universe of what we call stress. And so if you get to the idea of using activation versus supplementation, we can get at the primary cause of what stress is. So the primary theory of aging is oxidative stress. So as you can read here, inflammation, which is caused from free radical damage, which is the byproduct of oxidative stress, is the root cause.
So if you can't see it on the screen, that is activation at the top and then it's better than supplementation.
Right.
That's what he's pointing out.
So let's move us out of the way a little bit there.
There you go. So, yeah, explain that.
Yeah, so sometimes pictures do a better job than actual words. So if you look at the top here, so you can see my cursor here. So we have an apple, and that's on the left. It's a perfectly good, healthy apple. And right below that is a depiction of what would be a normal cell. And so if we look at oxidative stress, it's the same thing, whether it's an apple or whether it's your cell. It'll break down. It gets attacked by these little free radicals, I like to think of it as like if I have a baseball and I just started throwing a baseball at the wall inside of my house, it's going to wreak havoc all over the place. That's the same concept of what happens to your cells till you get to the right. And cells that are damaged with oxidative stress in the same way an apple is essentially decaying is what happens. Now, if it's one or two cells, not a big deal. Our body has a mechanism in place, as we talked about, to kind of clear that out. But when it's many cells and your body is overwhelmed, then it starts affecting tissues and you start having symptoms. You start to get prescription medication to address these symptoms, but the root cause of this cellular oxidative stress continues in spite of the change in maybe symptoms that are being masked by the medicines that you're already taking. So I'll move us out of the way again here if I can. So the solution is to reduce oxidative stress.
So how are we doing that?
Wow, it sounds like a big deal, doesn't it? It is a big deal, but it doesn't have to be as complicated as maybe what we're trying to make it sound like right now. But again, some people will address this through supplements. They'll take maybe a vitamin C supplement, or they might start eating more healthy. So eating your cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower and broccoli, or maybe citrus vegetable or citrus fruits like oranges, or maybe something with resveratrol, like your berries. These are all great things to do.
So here, honey, here's your 110 cups of blueberries for lunch.
Right. So it comes down to, is it feasible to do this on a daily basis? And then not just a daily basis, but a weekly basis and a monthly basis.
There's some side effects to eating that many.
There would be some side effects. But the other part of it is thinking, it's like if my house is on fire and it's my body, it's the equivalent of trying to put out the fire with a Dixie cup. Sorry, I just moved the screen a little bit there. But if you were to activate yourself and turn on these survivor genes, especially the ones that amplify what is called the NRF2 protein, NRF2 turns on your body's production of what are called the big three antioxidants that our body already makes. So catalase, glutathione, which is a big one, especially for your brain, and then SOD, which is for superoxide dismutase. So instead of trying to douse the fire with a Dixie cup, you now have a whole fire station putting out a fire with a fire hose. So we make trillions and trillions of free radicals every day. I could address them one at a time by how I eat, which is going to be inefficient and ultimately ineffective, or I can address 1 million at a time through activation, turning on my NRF2.
So what is the NRF2 activation? What is it? Is it 1 pill, 10 pills?
Right. So we could take multiple supplements, as you see on the left-hand side here, or you could take a single NRF2 activator pill to address all the benefits that we just described. So turning on your catalase, turning on your glutathione, and turning on your superoxide dismutase. So it's the difference between doing supplementation, taking supplements, or going into the process of what's called nutrigenomics, using nutrition, targeted nutrition, to activate your genes, your healthy genes, what we call your survival genes, and create a total miraculous system of defense for your cells. So here be a couple examples. So again, pictures speak 1,000 words. So we have tons of examples where people have described how their health has been turned around. But you can also see, can you imagine if I can see this on the outside of the body, what's happening to the cells on the inside of the body?
So that's from oxidative stress? That's
right. This rash is a byproduct of oxidative stress. They could have been putting a salve on it. They could have been consuming maybe a prescription medicine to try to address it. The skin is, the largest organ that we have in our body. It's the first line of defense to the environment that we live in. And so you can imagine after a few weeks of activation to be able to see this kind of a difference. Wow, what a change that is. What I like too, though, is to know that it helps humans, but it really helps all mammals, because our cells are, pretty much the same. There's, subtle differences, obviously. I'm not going to say a human is like a dog or vice versa. But mammal cells, there's a large amount of overlap. The other thing that you can't do with an animal that is sometimes common with humans is you can have what's called a placebo effect, right? So if I were to suggest to you, if you take this, it's going to benefit you, your belief in that product is going to help. And we like that. But I also like the fact that it actually works without me being able to suggest it. So you can imagine these two dogs, they come from the same bred line, and they're both at the same age, but Amelia, the one on the right, was activated at 4 years old, where Sabrina on the left from the same litter line, she looks a lot different. She was activated when she was 13. She's going to benefit from it. But can you imagine the longer that you're being activated, how much that's going to benefit you compared to procrastinating and waiting to do your activation?
So Sabrina got on it when she's 13. So she's just getting started. So she
correct.
already has an aging process going on, as you can see.
Yep.
And you're saying Amelia has been taking it since she was 4 years old, and she's now 13 in that picture.
These dogs are the same age. That's right.
About reversing or holding back and delaying the decay of your aging process, right?
It's totally incredible. So, I'll just kind of end it there. It's like, how can you not want to at least consider the concept of activation and maybe go away from the idea of supplementation, knowing that you're getting that kind of a benefit, knowing that you're getting that kind of a benefit. I don't even know how to say it any better because the pictures are so amazing, and a picture speaks 1,000 words. So are you willing to do something to address a root cause, or are you going to concede something and only try to address a symptom? Do you want to be a part of the 2/3 of the country that's taking not one, not two, but maybe 3 or more prescription medicines every day, but still being sleepless, still being exhausted, and not really getting what you think you're getting from your supplements or your prescription medicines? Or do you want to consider the idea of trying to activate yourself?
So just feeling better. I mean, this is a good start to just see your body make some adjustments to activate and turn on these switches inside, is what you're kind of saying. And just get it started. Doesn't matter if you were 13 getting started or 4. If some people think I should have been, if I was younger, I would start these. I say any age should start these.
Right. My mother's 86 and she started activation when she was 81. And she's already had documented benefit that's been seen medically in her medical file. And so there's never a point where it's too late, but the quicker you can do it, the better. So why wait?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
all get better with activation, right?
Right.
Right.